You may stick up for a socialist mayor because you may be a socialist reporter. Because I don't agree with that, John. John, the bottom line is
true. What you're saying now or what you're saying then? What's
Pam
the truth?
McConnell and John Fillion. See, sure, walk away. It's the easiest way to do it. Pam McConnell and John Fillion, from what I said. Okay.
Answer the question.
All right.
Why did you just call him a fat fuck?
Yeah. Why did you say that? Why did you say that? Well,
why did you just call him a fat fuck?
You did. You did. You said that.
Barbara,
you did that.
Why did you? I just heard you.
That's right. You heard it. Okay. What did you say? What did you just say?
You just called him a fat
You
fuck.
called me a fat
Why
fuck
did you
right
call
now.
him a fat fuck?
You just did.
Why did you
Are you
just
gonna
do
lie
that,
about
Barbara?
that? Are you gonna lie about
Barbara,
that,
why did
Barbara?
you just
Are you
call
gonna
him a
lie
fat
about that?
fuck?
You said that.
You just called him a fat fuck. Why did you do that?
Okay. Where are you
I'd
going,
like to know what
John?
your editor says about this. I'd like to know what your editor says.
Yellow 80! Yellow 80! Say that! You did. You called me a fat fuck right in front of it. Right in front of him.
Why did you do it?
That's exactly what you did.
Why did you do it?
No. I want to know if you were a man.
Why did you do it?
If you were a man.
Why did you do it?
No, that is not a process. That is an assault. That is a verbal assault. That is a verbal assault. That is a verbal assault. No, I am standing right here.
Why did you do it?
That's exactly.
I want
what
to know
said.
why you said it.
You said that. No, this is a public space.
I'd like to know why you said it.
Why did you say that? You said that right
Why are
there.
you running, Barbara?
Why are you running, Barbara?
Rob, come on. Rob, forget it.
That's when Mayor Ford had a very violent collision with a cameraman.
Thanks for you.
Sir, what do you think of what you've heard this far? What have you heard so far?
No, it's open to debate. There's people that are for it and people that are against it. That's why we're having it. Excuse me, guys. Holy Christ!
What happened?
Holy! I got the respect. He's hitting the face of the camera.
We had looked before at the culture budget, and the question was raised about the grants. And my understanding from staff is that those grants are in which?
There's no way I am going to sit here and take this nonsense. I'm telling you right now.
Oh,
okay?
come on, Council.
And you're not going to continue this meeting until I get to move that budget. Because this snake should be back in his cage where it comes from. You slithering snake.
Chairman,
He's the one who did it. I know he's a weasel, and weasels and snakes belong in the zoo. Okay, and I'm not letting this go.
No, Councillor.
You guys can grab a recess
It's
until I get to move my
unparliamentary.
We don't get those zoo
You know, Councillor, there are rules.
he has to be removed, David. He has to be removed. He has to be removed. He scares me. I'm not.
Councillor, please. Council.
Mr. Chair.
Councillor, no.
On a
Please,
point of
members
You did it out of spite, okay? You got
Members of council.
Mr. Chairman, on a.
No, members of council. Let him yell for a minute and blow off his steam, and then we'll go on with our meeting.
we're going to sit here.
On a
No,
point of
we're
privilege.
not going to sit here, council.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman.
Please,
It is time that
Councillor
the chair.
Johnson, please. Let me please deal with the member that's there without everyone else jumping up and looking as silly as he does. Now let him just go for a minute. If he doesn't sit down, I'll ask for him to be removed.
Order in this council.
Fine,
chamber.
let me do that without
Do it.
everyone else
Call
jumping
the
up.
security guards.
Fine,
remove
let
them.
me deal with it.
Guys, we have 2 more years of this. Nobody, any of you complaining.
Twitter this morning that allegedly shows you reading papers while driving on the Gardner.
Yeah, probably. I'm busy.
See you read while driving?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I catch up on my work and I keep my eyes on the road, but I'm a busy man.
You don't see a problem doing that on the gun?
Well, I'm busy. I've got to be, I don't know what that has to do with a trade mission, but anyways, it's a ridiculous question sometimes, seriously.
What can you tell us about
Get off
the
my, okay.
police
That's
probe
fine. You
that
guys
you
don't
were,
get off my driveway. a focus of the police.
Guys, can you get off my driveway, please?
Sandra Lisi.
Can you get off my driveway,
What
please?
can you tell
Can
me
you get off my driveway, please?
What can you tell me?
Can you get off my property, please? Can you get off my driveway, please? Can you get off my driveway? Can you get off my property, please? Don't get off my property!
I'm leaving!
Can you get off my property?
I'm leaving!
Hey, thank you. Thank you very much. Get off my property. Thank you.
You're off your property.
Thank you very much.
Tell us about your investigation.
What don't you understand? Get off the property, partner. Get off. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Are you the focus of the
Thank you.
drug investigation related to Sandra
Thank you.
Lisi, Mr. Mayor?
Thank you.
What will you tell us about the
Thank you.
information
Thank you.
released today?
Thank you.
Don't get run over, guys. Now watch out, guys. You got some drive slow.
You asked me a question back in May, and you can repeat that question.
The question we asked you back in May?
Yeah.
Can you
You said
explain
the video didn't.
You asked me a couple questions, and what were those questions?
Do you smoke crack cocaine?
Exactly. Yes, I have smoked crack cocaine.
When,
But
sir?
no, do I? Am I an addict? No.
When have you
Have I
smoked
tried it? Probably in one of my drunken stupors, probably approximately about a year ago. I answered your question. You asked the question properly, I'll answer it.
How many
yes,
times?
I've made mistakes. All I can do now is apologize and move on.
Have you
I don't
ever
know what.
been
Oh, guys,
arrested?
okay. Can I just?
Yes, please.
All I can say is I've made mistakes. And you guys kept referring to alcohol. There was a couple isolated incidents. There's been times when I've been in a drunken stupor. That's why I want to see the tape. I want everyone in the city to see this tape. I'd like to see this tape. I don't even recall there being a tape and a video, and I know that. So I want to see the state that I was in. But that's exactly it. That's I don't know what else I can say to you. Okay. So. 325. Here we go.
Well, you aren't wasting any time, are you?
313.
There you go, all right, Bob? Ow. Okay, are you going to come back and say a few words?
Why don't you wait, Counselor?
Okay, folks. Anyways.
You're not doing it?
You should wait yourself.
About a year ago, but I don't know exactly. That's why I want to see. I don't even remember after some of the stuff that you guys see me, the state I've been in. It's a problem. So I want to get.
Are you
I
on
said
crack
I
right
get.
now?
Okay.
It's me, Mark Delahunty. You know, I gave up all the old Princess Warrior stuff. But you know, but Mayor Ford, I came up to give you a hand, honey. Because I gave up the Princess Warrior stuff, but when I saw what was happening to you.
Whoa, can I get my car?
Oh, Mayor Ford, please. I came all the way from Newfoundland to talk to you, honey. One good thing about being stubborn, though, Mayor Ford, is you always know what you're going to be thinking the next day. God love you. Take care of yourself now. Didn't go that good, did it?
Well, a little crash, a little stuttering John-ish, but what the hell? When Mayor Ford got inside his house, he called 911 and swore at the dispatcher because the police were not getting there fast enough. The police...
I'm not driving. I'm not driving. Sorry, get that away, but no, but it stinks, brother. Between you and I, brother, you got brother, but it stinks. But you gotta, give me some cologne. I'll give you some cologne. I'll give you some cologne. Thanks. I haven't, seriously. I'm sorry, brother. You know me.
This very good news department quoted sources that indicate the mayor's actual comment to the dispatcher was, well, the quote may actually be worse than this, but it appears he said at least the following. Don't you effing know? I'm Rob effing Ford, the mayor of this city. Toronto's Rob effing Ford, the mayor of this effing city, today's effing worst person in the effing world.
But to say I called the dispatcher a bitch, I never said that. I never identified myself, which you're supposed to do. But I never, used it in any in a conceited manner. And I was frustrated. And you know, I was very upset that they accosted me.
He's a big guy, man. Oh, nice to meet you, buddy.
Buy a bottle and let's party right
Yeah,
now.
all right. Can't see that. You can't see that. How you doing, guys? All right.
Yeah.
Good.
What do you say he's going to meet?
We're gonna go up to the party, man. Let's go. I want to get these kids playing football.
Yo, I need to get in the picture. Someone take a picture.
That guy's a big guy, man. He's solid, man.
Where's Lydia?
Where you going? Airport Tech?
I'm at home at 8 o'clock in the morning. You know, my little girl's crying in the window. Like, come on, that crosses the line. And then stop me from getting into my car and then say I wasn't at your property. I mean, I wasn't on your property. Oh, that's just an outright lie. They were on, but they couldn't even get in my car.
There's a question over here, Mr. Mayor. Right over here, Mr. Mayor. Do you think that the police should have been there more quickly?
Again, I support the police. They're busy. When you're accosted, maybe, you know, I'm expecting too much. Maybe I am. I don't know. But I was definitely, you know, I didn't know. I've never seen this. Maybe other people know about this 22 minutes. I'm not. I've never seen the show, and so I didn't know who they were. But it was, you have one big guy and the lady looked like a guy dressed up. I don't know. I couldn't really tell. And the first thing in the morning, yelling and screaming at you, you know, and I've had a few death threats. I have to be careful. And, you know, and I've always been told, call 911 if anything happens. That's exactly what.
Rob Ford liked what he saw, and tourists had plenty of good things to say to him about Toronto.
What do you like about our city the most?
Just it's a walk. It's like Chicago. It's a great walk town. It's a lot of fun.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
I'm Rob. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Excellent.
But those friendly moments gave way to a strange exchange with this tourist when the mayor seemed a little confused about Canadian geography.
From Detroit in the river?
Oh, Manitoba. Oh, you're in Manitoba.
Mr. Mayor, how many LRT lines do we currently have in Toronto?
Okay.
How many LRT lines do we have?
Councillor?
How many LRT lines do we have?
He doesn't know.
There's one is called St. Clair.
No, that's a streetcar line.
And that's a complete disaster. That is a complete...
How many LRT lines do we have in Toronto? None? Okay. How many streets or how many traffic signals will the LRT cross on the grade separated line in Scarborough?
You know what? I'm not an engineer. I don't have all these
Mr. Mayor, do you know about the line that we're debating today?
Councillor Matlow, hold on a second. Let's just take a deep breath, lower the tone, questions for clarity. Let's not be argumentative.
How many streets, how many traffic signals will the LRT, the current Metrolinx plan for the Scarborough replacement cross?
You know what? I know one thing.
Okay, I'm asking it for a number of things.
Councillor Matlow.
I think you're supposed to ask questions on clarity of the motion.
I am.
Well, talking how many stops or LRTs are not in my motion.
I'm not asking.
All I'm saying, Councillor, is I've listened loud.
Let's do that again. Welcome. Hold down. Yeah. All right. We get this arm ready. I want to know how come he got the eye of the tiger, the good guy. It's suitable.
Do you actually understand that it's grade separated, that it doesn't rip out traffic lanes?
Okay. It does rip out traffic lanes. It does. You know what, Councillor? LRTs go down the middle of a road. They tear up your roads.
No, you don't. Mr. Mayor, do you know about this specific route that we're debating today?
Councillor Matlow, calm down. Councillor Matlow, Councillor Matlow.
That the mayor is trying to absolutely sabotage a plan for a route that he clearly has not demonstrated that he knows.
Okay.
Councillor Matlow, your opportunity is.
I wish I was a smart.
Mr. Mayor. Okay.
You've got Mike there. Are we ready?
For the Hulkamaniacs.
On my mark. In 3, 2, 1. Oh, big man. Oh, that's all you got. Oh, brother, you know something? Not only am I going to rip this arm off, I'm going to take your job while I'm at it, brother. Mayor Hogan. I owe you this man, That was a setup.
There we go. Sound like Kitty Cow.
Last speaker would be Mayor Ford.
You want to go? Sure. I was waiting for you.
Well, the mayor is the last speaker.
Anyways, thank you, Madam Speaker. I guess it comes down to you have to walk a mile in someone's shoes to understand what people want. And this whole transit debate obviously comes down to subways or LRTs or fancy streetcars or whatever other terminology you want to use. This is a bylaw opening the door to make every ward have a shelter. That's the black and white of the issue here. Okay? I'm sorry to say, this is an insult to my constituents to even think about having a homeless shelter in their ward. And you want me to have a public meeting to discuss this? Why don't we have a public lynching? Or the taxpayers overwhelmingly want subways. And as soon as you mention an LRT or a fancy streetcar, they look at St. Clair, they panic. Please, I don't want St. Clair in my backyard. Traffic congestion, chaos, billion-dollar boondoggle. That's what it's going to come down to. Boondoggle that, like I said, will make e-health look like chump change.
You recognize that you don't have, council has no right to direct either the chief or the police services board with regards to any of these budgets.
We have the authority to spend the money out of our budget the way we wish, like we're sitting here for 7 days and debating it.
No, actually we don't, and maybe you need to look at how you just, I'm just suggesting,
All right.
and try and be helpful, that you change the way that the motion is, because as such, Mr. Chair, it cannot be accepted. The second one is that I was just wondering, in terms of the operating costs of this, presumably we're not just buying a helicopter, we're buying a helicopter and some people to fly it. Is that the idea? Where is the, what's the operating cost for the helicopter, and where are you getting that?
I'm not the chief of police and I don't allocate the money. I'm not on the police services board. All I'm saying is I've given them $1.5 million to get the helicopter in the air. Now they're going to have to man it. They're going to have to put electronics in there. They're going to have to do it. But this $1.5 million will get that helicopter in the air and will save people's lives. And that's the black and white of the issue.
Well, I'm sorry,
you
Councillor.
You can sugarcoat it whatever way you want.
I'm sorry, Councillor. You actually need somebody to drive a helicopter.
They want subways, folks. They want subways, subways, subways. Subways, 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 subway, subway, subways, subway, subways, 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 subway, subways, 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 subways.
Councillor.
Yes. I'll just start with the last one. Did you attend any of the police services budget meetings and hear anything about any deputants coming forward for a police helicopter?
Yes, I did. Yes, I had many people come forward to me.
At the actual meeting of the police services board with the deputations. Were you physically at those meetings?
What are you asking me exactly?
I'm asking if you attended the meetings of the police services board where the budget was
No, I wasn't
discussed.
at the police services board meeting.
Thank you.
No.
That was my...
I'm going to be a straight shooter, as I always am. When I drive downtown every day, or at least 3 or 4 times a week to come to City Hall, there's no secret. Okay, the cyclists are a pain in the ass to the motorists. Like, let's be quite frank.
Councillor, I remind you of the need to use parliamentary.
But hold on. Okay, I will retract the word ass. But the exact same argument I get from the cyclists that say to me, and as soon as I get the emails, the first thing they say is, you're a fat slob, they go after my big belly, and I say, okay, I can understand that, fine, but what's the solution, okay? Because the cyclists say, I hate you motorists, I can't stand you guys, and they flip you the bird as you're going down Queen Street or Dundas Street. There's this huge animosity between the motorists and the cyclists. There's this huge animosity, and it's never going to go away, Madam Speaker.
During the budget, ask for a helicopter.
You can walk outside and listen to people what they want. Why do they have to come and beg and plead in front of socialists like yourself that sit here and ring them all over the polls?
Whoa, withdraw that.
No, I'm not withdrawing. It's a fact. I am not withdrawing that because she is a socialist. I am not withdrawing that.
I have no problem being a socialist at all, but I don't like being wrung out and say I'm bringing out the police.
What's up? Well, how many helicopters did the chief ask the police service board to provide him with this year?
None.
And how many are you asking council to provide you with this year?
None.
So what are we debating?
But really, $6 million? $6 million right now in the middle of a recession? I get calls from people saying, I want the potholes fixed. And you know who says that to me? Not just the motorists, the cyclists. I just hit a pothole. I went ass over tea kettle, went on the sidewalk and hurt myself. Well, this is, they want it fixed just as much as anybody else.
Tell me exactly what part of the report you favor?
Well, what it basically said, I don't know, obviously you and I totally disagree on transit in this city. I clearly supported subways. We put a lot of work into getting the Shepherd line. You told me when you became chair, I will guarantee, well, you know what? Hey, listen, I'm going to answer my question. You told me right to my face that if you give me the chair.
Hey, Mayor, can you answer?
I'm answering the question, how this report started. You said we have to get a report going. I said, we'll get the report, and I will guarantee we're going to build subways if you make me chair of the TTC. You obviously, you didn't obviously tell me the truth.
Did you submit?
That's okay. So, and what really gets me, what really gets me, just one thing. The good left-wingers down here, like Councillor Perks and Vaughan and the Bearmaker, like the extreme left, the left, the far left, and Pam too. The funny thing is, you're the first ones that say, bail out the auto sector, we gotta fund it, we gotta build more calls, we gotta bail out the auto sector, let's fund the General Motors, let's get Chrysler out, let's build cars. But the extreme left is saying the complete opposite. We don't want cars. Well, you either support your union buddies at GM and ask for government bailouts, or you don't.
You're a little off topic.
No, but it's true, Madam Speaker. You know that's true. That's exactly.
Good job.
I got her. Don't worry.
Good job. Rob, is this what it means to support mayor?
Absolutely.
You're doing great.
Holy.
This is amazing.
Look at the tail coming,
It's a big fish. Looks like a shark.
It's a big fish.
So you can only do this with friends.
I'm good. I got her. Don't worry. Holy. It's a big one. It's a dark one.
Real.
Holy.